Hey, thanks for dropping back by. This is going to be the second video for doing elements to complete an IA for IB Math Studies. I'm using the same data for every single video, as you can see here. So basically this is data of a list of students, and I'm comparing their English test scores to their math test scores. So I guess we could say the idea of the project is to find a correlation between the two, but what we're going to do right now is look at just one test at a time, and I'm just going to consider the English test here. In my previous video I made a histogram of the English test data, and now I'm going to create a box and whisker plot of the English test data. And in order to do this, I'm going to have to find my 5-number summary. So we're going to say, I'm going to go ahead and make some labels here. I'm going to say minimum here, and then we're going to do our quartiles. We're going to call it Q1. We can say your median or Q2, it's the same thing. Q3, and your maximum. So I'm going to find all these, and I'm going to go ahead and drag this out a little bit here. And to find the minimum is pretty easy. You just hit equal and type in min. Open up parentheses and just highlight the entire thing. Instead of sitting there shifting through all the numbers to figure out what's the minimum, we can just do that, and what that gives me is 35. For the first quartile, we're going to hit equal. We're going to type in literally quartile. It's right here, quartile. I like typing it out, and then it's going to you see right here, it's going to ask you for the data array, which is the English test scores that I just used, and then it's going to specify which quartile you want this to be. In this case, it's going to be 1. So I'm going to select my data again. All right, and I'm going to hit comma 1, and then close this up, and that's going to give me your first quartile. Your median is the same thing, except it's called the second quartile. So I can just keep doing this if you want, and just highlight this, select it again, comma 2, as you can see right there, comma 2, and then we're going to hit enter, and that's going to give me the second quartile. We're going to do this again to figure out the third quartile. Select the data array, and then that's the third quartile. And now to find the maximum value, we'll just type in max. Select the data array one last time, and then we will close that up, enter, and that's your maximum. So basically we have your minimum, your quartiles, and then your maximum here. So okay, now at this point, after I have my 5-point summary, I'm going to need to create a differences column here. And basically, there's really no difference in the minimum. We'll just keep that at 35. But the difference is here. I need the difference between the first quartile and the second quartile. So what I'm going to do is select, make an equation here, and I'm going to select the first quartile, subtract the minimum, and that's going to give me that gap here. That distance there is going to be the distance between the minimum and the first quartile in my box and whisker plot. And I'm going to keep doing this for every other piece. So I'm going to say second quartile, or the median, minus the first quartile. I need that distance. And then for the next one, I'm going to need the third quartile minus the second quartile. And then lastly, I will have the maximum minus the third quartile, and that will give me my distances here, my differences here. So I'm going to basically highlight these differences, and I'm going to go to insert, and then we see this up here. We're going to have a bar chart, and what I'm going for is a stacked bar chart that's horizontal. Okay, so as you can see, when I create this looks nothing like a box and whisker plot, but what we're going to do is kind of fix that up a bit. I'm going to come up here to switch row and column at the top, and then that's going to do this for me. And then now what's going to happen is I'm going to select this here, and I'm going to get rid of the fill. So there's going to be no fill here. I'm going to do that for the second one here. And then this one we're going to leave, and this we're going to leave because this is going to represent our interquartile range from Q1 right here to Q3, and then here's Q3 to your maximum. So I'm going to do a no fill on this one. Now as you can see here, I can still select the actual missing elements here. So this is actually, this represents right here, this right side, your minimum value. This is your first quartile, your second quartile, all the way up to the third quartile, and then finally to the maximum. But what we need here, we have a box here, but we don't have any whiskers. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to come over here, I'm going to select this box, and then I'm going to insert what is called an error bar. So if I go up here to add chart element, I'm going to add an error bar right here, and you want to select more error bars. That's going to open up your format error bars menu over here. And what I want is select this over here. I'm going to select the minus error bar. And then over here, I need to select the, I'm going to change the custom value here. So what I'm going to do to custom specify this value, I want this to actually just be the difference between Q1 and the minimum, which is this value right here, and my difference is right here. So I'm going to select this the negative error value, and I'm going to select just that, and that's going to be okay. And that's going to specify that distance automatically for you. And I like leaving the little tick mark on the end. So I'm going to come over here to this second box here, and I'm going to insert another error bar to represent the upper quartile. So I'm going to go to the same process, add chart element, error bars, more error bars. And then I'm going to come over here to error bar options, and this one's going to be the plus option. And then again, I'm going to come over here and specify the value, and I want that to be the difference between my max and my Q3. Actually, let me get this out of the way real fast. I'm going to do that again. I'm going to select my error bar, and what I'm going to do is specify the value, and the positive error value will be the difference between the max and the Q3, which is here 25. And then I select OK, and that's going to put that out of here. I'm going to go ahead and delete these grid lines because I don't like them. And then I'm going to make a chart title, and this will be English test scores or something. That's what I'm looking at really. And this is basically the spread of the data of the English test scores. And you probably will want to make these the same color. So if you just select them, and you can actually change the fill, of course, to something else. I'm going to change the color to something like a light green, I guess. And I'll make this the same. And what you notice when you do that, though, is it gets rid of the actual lines here. So you want to make sure that you have a border on that. So you're going to go to border down here. Let's close this up. And you're going to go to your border and have a solid line of some sort. It's good to have that so you can specify where your quartiles are. So here's your minimum value here. This particular bar represents your first quartile, your second quartile, also called your median, your third quartile, and this will be your maximum. And then that's basically it. You really should come up here and add axis titles. You don't really need a vertical one usually, so I'll get rid of that. But you can specify what this is, which is basically English scores or something like that. So that's pretty much how you make a whisker plot. Now you can copy this particular chart and you can paste it into a Word document or whatever word processing program you're working in to create your IA. So I hope that's helpful for you. And of course you can repeat this process again for like your other variable, your math test, or what have you. So hopefully you can find this useful if you want to choose to do this and have a discussion about the interquartile range in your math IA. All right, appreciate it.